Welcome, everyone. My name is Daven Ghandi. I am the owner and founder and managing attorney of Kaza Law. We are an immigration law firm where we help fellow immigrants achieve their American dream. Today, we are going to discuss a very important topic that affects a lot of people and immigrants especially. And with us, we have Jasmine, who is so brave to come forward to share her story where she was nearly scammed by these scammers, but thankfully caught on. So thank you so much, Jasmine. We hope that her story will be a reminder to the rest of us to just remain vigilant and to hopefully we are able to get more information on what we need to watch out for if approached by scammers. Jasmine.
Hi, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share. I think this is just such a great, important information to share out because when I was in the midst of figuring out if it was a scam or not, I was just furiously just trying to look for an example to confirm that. So the fact that you're even, sharing this information with the community, I think it's a really great thing, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Thank you, Jasmine. I would love to hear about how it started.
It was a really random Friday, right? Morning, and I got this call. It actually says from USCIS, like it's called from a number, with the name appeared as something that's got something to do with immigration. And then my sister saw it, because I was at the time waiting for my approval for my visa. So she was like, "Oh my God, you need to pick this up. It might be about your visa." And then when I picked up, the very first thing I noticed was this woman who was, who introduced herself. Her tone was really aggressive. She was really stern, but she had an accent.
Mhm.
She had an American accent. That should have been a giveaway, but I was like, oh, okay. But anyway, she very quickly introduced herself. Jennifer Williams, and she's calling from ICE, and then immediately her tone was really aggressive, like, oh, we're calling you because you have failed to comply with, oh gosh, there's a very specific number, but I can't recall it right now, but a procedure, a form that I didn't complete. And then immediately, she was like, "Are you trying to hide your identity from us? Is this, because so immediately she was very hostile, was trying to put me into like this like nervous mode. But
Mhm.
of like how that whole thing came to me.
Can you also tell us a little bit about your immigration process and where were you in the immigration journey during the time?
I had entered the US with a tourist visa, and then I was going through the change of status visa from the tourist visa to a student visa. So I think this was actually probably like, a week or two before I actually got the final approval.
Mhm.
So um, it's crazy.
Did you believe that this person was from immigration when you first saw the number and they first started speaking to you?
So like how you process information like simultaneously from her accent, I didn't believe it. She's got this like, Desi accent.
Mhm.
But but part of me was like, don't be racist. She could be someone who's working from.
Yeah.
Then what happened was they had a multi-step to make you believe that they're actually calling from, from ICE. So the first thing that she did, she was like, okay, I need you to like get your computer or, like be on your phone right now to search my number to see, what do you see when you search the number I'm calling you from?
Mm.
It's the ICE office, right? And then she's like, specifically which office? So it led to like the San Francisco office.
Mm.
And then, okay, so when, so this is to show you that, like I'm calling from this office.
Yeah.
And then if for whatever reason this call drops off, you know, don't call me back, wait for me to call you back.
Mm.
That's the first instruction. The second instruction was, also because this is an investigation, you cannot, for whatever reason, leave this call.
Mm.
Even if there's another call calling in,
Yeah.
you have to ignore them. So this is going to be an important information later.
Yeah.
So she sort of like, she basically started like a really long-winded, like, okay, why it's so important for her to call me. And then what's that thing, that procedure that I missed, right?
Mhm.
was this other call that would relentlessly try to call in, also an unknown number. She was talking to me, and then I feel like she knew at the time someone was calling, another number was trying to call me. So she was like, "Is everything okay?" I was like, "Oh yeah, this is other number trying to call me." She's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, um, can you Google that number and see where it's calling from?" Calling from the local police station. So I was, at Portland, Oregon at the time. So it was calling me from the Portland, Oregon police station.
Okay.
And oh, this is probably about your warrant to arrest you. You need to accept this call right now, and then I will call you right back. And then I was like, okay. So I
Okay.
picked their call. So it's a male. Oh my God, I forgot the officer's name.
You mean the officer's name?
The
Okay. Okay.
Also an officer. So he's got a really Irish name, but he's got an Indian accent.
Yeah.
Again, I should have known.
Yeah.
But my head was like, it's the US, right? They could have hired anyone. But no. Usually they don't have. So yeah, he was basically just like, "Oh, I am about to arrest you. Are you at home? Are you in Portland?" And then and I told them like, "Oh, I'm actually on a call with this other officer." And then he was like, "Okay, you need to take down my badge number, and then you
Yeah.
need to officer know." Basically, the officer needs the woman to give me, like a case number that they can put in their systems. I don't understand what they were doing, but then it was very effective in making me feeling very nervous. It,
Sure.
it was keeping me occupied to just like doing all these things, right? So that I
Mm.
wasn't too much. Also, another really important indicator was that, before, the officer started calling me, even before then, the first caller, be like, "Oh, because this is an investigation, if you're in a public place, you need to immediately go indoors right now. If you're in an indoors scenario where there are other people with you, you need to go to a room to be completely alone." So they were basically trying to isolate me. My sister was there with me at the time. And of course, she was furiously Googling. We were pretending that, oh, yeah, I'm alone in a room. But my sister was actually there the whole time,
Yeah.
Googling, like just like what's happening, what's going on. Is this the usual procedure? For me, it was just extra nervous because once in a while I get a bad Wi-Fi day. That was the day. So it's a little longer
Yeah.
to get a hold of like information. So basically the officer was like, "Okay, because you have confirmed that you are, like complying with this other officer to help us investigate, we're not going to arrest you right now, but you
Mhm.
need to do everything that she's telling you to do. And then as soon as, we get like, if I don't get this whatever confirmation report in like the next 10-15 minutes, I'm going to come and arrest you and I have your address." And then back to caller number one, everything was the ICE website. It was ice.gov. Like when I Google, like when I search her number, I was brought back to like ice.gov. Okay, now I need to go to ice.gov. And there is this, click on this item on the menu and then click on the second option. Okay, I need you to read this article so that you are aware of your rights. She made me read like 2 PDFs, that's like, it's really, really, really stupid. What's even more stupid, my English sounded more American than her. I know, not relevant, but I was just like reading through the whole thing. And then I think by the time this was like at the 30-minute mark, like with the whole back and forth, her making me read, I think she just really wanted me to be really nervous and wanted to get for it. I was reading something and then my sister came in. I think she was saying something. I don't remember. It was like a lot of like, adrenaline. It was a lot of like nerves going on. My sister came in with a blog post that actually explained exactly what I was going through, including the names of the officer.
Mm.
So at the time, I was already really sure that it was a scam.
I just want to kind of go back a little bit because I think this is like the really important part, right? The psychological games they play with you. They call you first, they try to verify their authenticity by telling you to Google their number and it shows an ICE number. Don't know how they do it, but they are able to get that number to appear on your phone, and it is actually the ICE website and the ICE number. And then they tell you not to hang up even if you get another call. And of course, they are working with somebody who is calling you incessantly, making you more anxious because you're like, who in the world is calling? And then they ask you to call. And then when you answer the call, it's somebody claiming to be a police officer, also alleging that they have a warrant out for your arrest and they can come to your place. So then not just the anxiety, but like the urgency, building the urgency. In that moment, I think anybody would feel fearful and think, okay, this seems very legitimate. I better go back to that first person and give them whatever information they're asking for. And then you actually went back to the first caller, and you said she made you go to the ice.gov website. Did she send you the link, or she just asked you to Google ice.gov?
She just had me Google them. She didn't
Okay.
have the. So essentially, the whole scam is built around the existing legit, like legal, official ICE website and information.
Mm,
Technology now where you can call for or whatever number, but then change, the appearance of it, right?
sure.
So they have researched so much, on the ICE website that, they were able to use it, so they didn't even have to create a fake ICE website.
Mm-hmm.
They the real website and, and use whatever information that's there, to work it as a part of the scam.
Up until this point, did they ask you for any personal information?
No, they didn't. Not my passport number, not
Okay.
any of my visa. They were just really invested having me be in the ICE website as they instructed to build up that fear in me. It was a lot of like official jargons,
Sure.
language, so that when I'm reading those, right, I was just like, what the heck is this,
And then obviously they also made the promise of arresting you if you didn't comply with whatever they needed. You noticed some red flags, right? From the very beginning, the accent, the names that don't correspond with what the accent sounds like. But then there were also things that were very accurate, which was the ice.gov website. These are the government website. This is the government number. I guess you were on high alert, but you just wasn't sure. The great
Yeah.
thing was, and then also making sure, I guess another red flag is trying to get you away from public and wanting you to be alone. The great thing was you had your sister, and you said that that's when you started realizing things weren't right when she came in with the article saying like, "Hey, look, were you still on the phone with them at that moment?"
I was. She was reading something at me. I don't
Okay.
remember, but I was able to mute her. Like, and then me and my sister were just like, "Oh my god, wait!" I think Jessica. I forgot Jessica or Jennifer Williams with the Desi accent. And I was like, "Wait!" And then we like another like Irish officer with Indian accent too. But I
Mm,
think the article, she had someone with sort of more like a Spanish accent. So,
okay.
but I had two, with Indian accent, and I was like, The article essentially just walked through the whole thing where, the victim essentially went through long enough in the part of the scam to go to a Walmart to buy gift card. So essentially, they want you to, buy gift card and then give them the information so that they can claim that money. Knowing that, I was like, okay, I'm close to the reveal where they're about to ask me for my money.
Hmm.
Play along with it because at this
Sure.
point,
Yeah, because you know already.
you're right. They've wasted an hour of my time, and I was both angry,
Hmm.
wanted like, okay, I want to get back at you. So yes, so yeah, but that was like an hour in. And then what happened next was she was like, well, okay, so now that you have complied with every single step that we talked about, you have two options. And I am obliged to tell you, like the two options that you have. The first one is you can, surrender yourself to a local jail. And and then you'll be released as soon as like the paperwork goes through. It'll take usually about 3 days. So you'll be in jail for 3 days. Like if you surrender yourself, you'll be in jail for 3 days. Or there's another way. If you don't want to go to jail, you can just buy a bond. So you just have to like buy a bond to pay that bond. I was like, let me think about this. So you're just like, I'll be in jail for 3 days. I'm like, okay, I live 2 blocks away from that jail. I can do it.
Okay.
She was like, wait, hold on. Like, so you want to be in jail for 3 days? I'm like, yeah, I can do it. Yeah. And then I was like, I don't have money.
Mm.
So, I mean, this is my only option. I was like, well, do you want to stay on the line with me as I change? And then, because it was so early in the morning, I was like, I need to change, to go to the police station. Then her voice started getting really like annoyed. And
Mhm.
then it was actually getting angry that she was like, fine, I'll stay on the phone and I will, I'll stay on the phone with you until you get to the police station. I was like, okay, great. I just put her on mute and I didn't do anything. I was just leaving her there, so that, she's like rotting while waiting for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And then the police officer called me back. I was like, hey. And then he's like, so is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm talking to the other officer. She read me options. So I'm actually gonna go to the police station now. So and then I was like, am I gonna see you there?
Hmm.
No, I'm not at the police station. I'm like, well, you can come meet me there because I'm on my way there now. And then he just hung up.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to the police station. And then my sister initially was like, we should just go to the police station and we could just tell the policeman. And I was like, no. If it's going to take me an hour to realize that this is not the real thing, I don't want to create confusion, and really like unnecessary panic. That's true. So I'm not going to go there unless it's absolutely necessary. And it doesn't feel like it's necessary at the moment. And then, she called me back. She was like, yeah, I'm like, I'm still changing. I don't know if you still want to wait, but, it's going to take me a minute to get ready. And then I'm going to go to the police station. And then she hung up and then nobody ever calls me back again. After that scam, there was another, random number who would call me that would say potentially jail.
Yeah.
When I Google search that number, it's the USCIS prison cell. I mean, that's what it comes up.
Detention center. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I never entertained them anymore.
Okay. Jasmine, I have to say it's your vigilance and you and your sister just I think you were so fortunate to be able to find that article, right? That kind of walked you through the entire process because you caught on, even though they've wasted an hour of your time, you caught on before it got further, before they started asking for your information or getting that financial money or whatever they were after from you. I know you didn't give information about yourself. Did they reveal information about you that made you think like, oh, maybe this is immigration?
My legal name,
So they knew your full name.
they know my legal name because
Okay.
usually I don't go by Jasmine. I'm trying to think of the information that they gave me because they didn't use my passport number. They didn't use any like my visa number or anything. Now that you've mentioned, that's also another point that I'm going to take note. Aside from my name, they really didn't provide much other information. I think they weren't establishing credibility by giving me the information about me that they have. They were establishing credibility using the official existing ICE website.
Which is very legitimate. Did you report any of these to the authorities, Jasmine?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Why didn't you?
Right. Well, number one, I don't have their real number because the number that appears on my phone, comes from ICE if you Google search it. And also, it was getting really clear that it's an operation that it wasn't operating here in the US. So even if I were to, report it, I don't know, if anything can be done out of that. It doesn't feel like an operation that's based in the US.
Okay, okay. Now, what advice would you give, Jasmine, to others who might be in a similar position as you were?
Oh my God, yes. I'm like the same thing that you told me, when I texted you, like really if needed, just be like, please contact my legal advisor. Please contact my lawyer. If it's, an authentic either arrest or interaction, they would have respected. They would have needed to respect that right, or else it would impact, the arrest down the road. I would also say that, trust yourself more like I should have, like when I caught the accent, when the red flags were already pretty apparent, but then they were using, right, like the legal website to really convince me otherwise. I would say trust your instinct more. It was a lot of red flag that they were able to convince me to disregard using the official website. So I would say, if you're still really unsure, reach out to your legal advisor. That would be the best way, safest way to move forward. Because, in the case, because for us, right, immigrants, we're trying to really be like law abiding immigrants, because we
Yeah.
really do see through our process. Um, so the biggest question for us to stay through in scams like this, or even process like this, would be, but what if this is a real thing and I accidentally, was rude to the person who has the ability to accept or reject my application, right? So for me, that was kind of like also prominently in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that, have them reach out to your legal advisor. That would be the most win-win situation, because in the case that if it is the real thing, which was probably they're not, in the case that it is a real thing, you have an official legal representative, right, to handle it for you. But if it's not the real thing, there's nothing else they could do about it.
Thank you so much. They were in the process of getting you to verify something at that point where you were like, okay, she put me on hold, and then I just kind of did my own thing and left her on the call. Do you remember what specifically she wanted you to do at that point?
It was a bad Wi-Fi day. It did start out with bad Wi-Fi, and then as the call went on, my Wi-Fi came back, but I didn't tell her that. I was like, because in the beginning I was like, you need to give me some time. My Wi-Fi is really down. You're calling me at the bad time. And then halfway through, the Wi-Fi came back. And she was like, oh, can you look for this article and that article? I'm like, oh, my Wi-Fi is not working.
Yeah.
Back in, and then I put her on mute. And then my sister and I would like speak in Cantonese and be like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. And I think you did the right thing, because I remember you also messaged me then, but I don't think I was in the country. I don't know what I was doing, but that's right. Just tell.
we're at a conference, because you got back to me
Yes.
to get to your phone. And then also another giveaway, if the way for you to legally pay for whatever procedure involves you to go to Walmart, this probably is a scam.
Yeah.
Actually, another friend of mine who's American was recently, I would say like probably 6 months ago, went through a very similar scam, not with immigration. And his scam call had much more information. I think it was a call about him missing jury. And then they even had like the date, like really detailed information about like his past jury activity. And then he would give him an address, like you need to go to this address right now,
Yeah.
to. And then ultimately, the whole kind of like scam, ended with them asking him to go to a Walmart to buy, a specific amount of gift card. So that kind of like gave me like a heads up, like, oh, so if any of like the allegation or like, ends up with with them wanting you to go to Walmart, or I don't know, like a supermarket or like a drugstore to get a gift card, that's probably not a legit, activity.
Yeah, and those are such good pointers and tips on what to look out for as far as red flags and whether it's a scam. Um, Last question, Jasmine, is do you believe that they knew that you were an immigrant who was waiting for some kind of immigration application?
I think they knew because it was a very targeted effort, and it felt like a specific information leak that they got from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Then approach me with that specific scam strategy. Example, like the one that my friend got, they knew he's an American, they went with, his jury experience, and then, like, oh, you miss your jury call. So I would say that we're living in an age where we don't know how much of our information is truly safe.
Mm.
So it felt like a very strategized tactic based on my immigration status. So yeah.
Great. And I'm pretty sure, Jasmine, that if you were to Google that woman, Jennifer, whatever, she's going to be an official employee under ICE, because oftentimes these scammers use actual real names, use actual government websites, so that even if you were try to verify it, you are probably gonna see, oh yeah, you are Jennifer. So that, I think what you did was perfect. The other thing is, I think the most important thing for the audience is just don't give out your personal information. In fact, try and get more information from them as possible. Like, hey, what's your agent number? What's your agent ID or your phone number? Or let me go speak to my attorney. He has all the information about me that I can then have him call you back or something, right? You get as much information from them as possible, and then hang up the phone. But also, most of the times, immigration or government agencies don't really call you.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
yeah, so that's very important to remember. And then especially they don't call you to ask you for payment over the phone. So I'm pretty sure if yours had continued, they will probably ask you to either pay them over the phone or go to a Walmart and get them gift cards. So those are really important things to remember. But Jasmine, I just want to thank you so much for coming on and for agreeing to share your story. I'm so glad you were able to not get scammed, and for these important reminders to other immigrants who may potentially fall for scams. Thank you.
No, thanks for letting me share. I am happy, to take one for the team so that would go through it again. It's so vicious. I think, for you to target profit out of people's fear, and I don't want anyone to go through that again. And if this story helps, I'll share it 100 more times.
Yeah. And then just as a final note, and you hit the nail on the head here, which is they prey on vulnerable populations like immigrants. And you were documented, but there could be undocumented immigrants who also then may have that fear of, oh my God, the police, they are coming to arrest me, right? And so, yeah, so they prey on the vulnerable. And so as immigrants, I'm so glad that we are here to take care of each other. And it just angers me too sometimes when I think about them doing these, because they could just get like two a day and they probably got like, get a good amount of money.
I was really angry. I felt really violated in a really weird way, right? With someone just over the phone. Which is why I think what you're doing, in just, having this conversation with me to share it with the community is just so important because if I'm so thankful for the girl who wrote a full blog post about this. She didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
So glad she did because if she didn't, right, I don't know how I would have reacted, because both me and my sister were just really nervous. So yes, and I would say if any, I hope none of your community members have gone through this, but if you have, share it with as many people as possible. That's the only way, that would prevent, scams like this to be successful.
Great. Thank you so much, Jasmine.
Yay, thank you.